Stock of the day, Incitec Pivot out this morning. Shares are up after it sold its US ammonia manufacturing facility for $2.5 billion. Sale in line with Incitec's restructuring plan. It'll set aside about $425 million from the deal for a long-term ammonia offtake agreement. Scott, what did you think of the deal? Right thing to do, and what do you think of Incitec Pivot shares at these levels?
Yeah, Kosha, it looks like the market likes the deal. I think it's probably pretty fair. It suggests maybe that this is a good time to be selling these kind of businesses. If you look back at Incitec's profitability, it looks pretty cheap, but I think you're going to get a one-off spike on some of this stuff. And I think, what I am fascinated by, mate, is they're prepared to make this sale. Most businesses are looking to grow, empire, build all that kind of stuff. I'm generally pretty positive when a company, unless they're in financial stress or something else is going on, when they choose to sell some assets, because it really says everything's for sale. We're not just building the empire for the sake of it. We're going to buy when it's cheap. We're going to sell when we think we're getting a good price for it. So I'm generally likely to see a sale favourably, generally speaking. Now, again, there's always exceptions. The stock itself looks cheap on the fundamentals. The problem is we know that last year, I'm looking here, 54 cents a share. The year before that, under 20. In fact, they've only been over 20 cents a share 3 times in the last 10 years. And so you've got a really interesting analysis to try and perform here of how long is it likely to deliver those sort of numbers, or are we going to fall back to something more reasonable? So I like the sale. I don't mind the company. Doesn't look particularly cheap. Doesn't look particularly expensive to me right now.
Okay, so if you're in it, hold it. But
I reckon, yeah. I mean, look, again, with probably a tick for management.
Yep.
Again, what they do with that capital remains to be seen.
Yeah.
That's always the second part of like individual investors selling, right? One thing to say, I'm going to sell shares in that company. Or where are you going to put the money? You've got to be right twice. So a tick in the box, but a question mark over what comes next.
Good time to have money in the bank, I reckon, Mark.
I think so.
What do you think?
Incitec Pivot's been a mediocre business for a long, long time. And in fact, if you look at their EPS growth, it was flat, and then flat between 2013 and 2018. Slight down bias, and then it dropped down a fair bit. Then it was flat down a bit lower, and then it's jumped right up in 21 and 22. So the earnings at the moment have been high and uncharacteristic for the company.
Right.
Their sales have gone up a bit as well in the last year, but not as much. So they are making some more money. It's on a 5.9 PE at the moment. So I think it is pretty cheap, actually. It's not a company that we'd like. And the reason it fails our filters is on stability.
Right.
It's got about 54% stability of earnings growth, and we like 80%.
Right.
Minimum 60, but 80 or better.
So it can be a bit all over the place.
Well, it is all over the place.
Yeah,
is the answer.
Yeah.
So, but look, it's not paying an 8.7% dividend. So that's not bad in this market. And as you just discussed, they've made a sale. I'm not familiar with the details of that. So whether they're going to do a special dividend as part of that, I don't know, or whatever. But they might, you know. So, but I wouldn't sell it if I held it.
Right.
And
okay, hold for you as well.
I reckon.
8.8 3/4% dividend's pretty good too.